All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Go Green, Boosting Sales with St. Patrick's Day Designs. I'm Courtney Matlick. I work with the Stahl's CAD-CUT Direct Division. We basically specialize in the manufacturing and selling of the heat transfer materials for the vinyl cutter. I'm actually lucky enough to get to travel a lot throughout the country and do some of the seminars and webinars here with Great Garment Graphics, showing customers basically how they can increase sales with new selling ideas and new markets and things like that. So today, that's where the topic came for with St. Patrick's Day Designs and being able to sell and increase your sales year-round with holidays and events. Every month of the year can present an opportunity for you to add sales on and to spark your sales with holidays or events, whether it be a birthday party or Christmas or St. Patrick's Day like we're going to talk about here. With March and St. Patrick's Day around the corner, I basically just thought it'd be a perfect time to stand back from the usual webinars that we do and seminars with Great Garment Graphics and the usual sports spirit small business markets, and kind of cover the potential to increase sales with custom designs for these markets, especially for those of you that might be in kind of a slower season right now, waiting maybe for a sports season or other seasons to pick up. Using a heat press and a vinyl cutter, which we'll show here in the webinar, is one of the easiest and really the most versatile ways to create any kind of custom or one-of-a-kind garments with your customer's tailored message or their own design, and let them choose what they want. In today's webinar, we'll look at 5 different markets and then the selling ideas for St. Patrick's Day to obviously increase your sales this spring, and then some of the different finishes that you can use and mix together for unique looks without obviously breaking the bank. Traditionally, I know a lot of customers have been afraid to do custom designs for one, and custom designs that have any kind of special effects to them, because there's usually a lot of steps and a lot of things that are involved and make it a little bit more of a hassle and much more expensive to do that. But with heat transfer materials like we'll show here in the webinar, it can be very cost effective to create these custom looks. So the ideas, like I said in this webinar, you can easily apply, obviously take them and see how you can increase your sales now with St. Patrick's Day designs, but also think of other holidays and events, maybe birthday parties that might present opportunities in your area as well to increase the sales year-round. So why did I choose St. Patrick's Day to cover this topic? It's obviously something I would love to cover year-round with Christmas and Halloween and all the other opportunities for decorating with holidays. Other than the fact that I'm Irish and maybe because I like the color green, I chose St. Patrick's Day because I'm really just kind of amazed by how this holiday has came into such a large non-gift-giving holiday. It's one of those holidays where custom t-shirts and garment sales have really begun to spike in the recent years because of the emphasized focus on obviously celebrating the holiday for people that are Irish and people that aren't Irish, and just about anybody who wants to go out and have a good time in the spring. And obviously green colored apparel makes a big spike as well because, you know, as the tradition goes, if you're not wearing green, you can be pinched, and who really wants to be pinched at just for wearing a different colored garment? So each year, retailers, especially online retailers that do custom garments, have seen sales really begin to spark because of this focus, obviously, and as the party goers begin to head out and celebrate. So from clothes to pins to buttons to accessories, I'm sure if you celebrate St. Patrick's Day or if you're looking to get into that, you've seen just how big the holiday has become. And it's actually now one of the largest non-gift-giving holidays where consumers come out and they're willing to spend money. So that gives you a lot of potential to kind of take those dollars from them yourself. So let's get started looking at ways we can create one-of-a-kind custom looks and obviously begin gaining that business of those that are celebrating. Of all the decorating processes that are available, there's a multiple ways that you can obviously create the designs for these t-shirts and these custom garments. For holidays or for events. And for example, our Transfer Express division, if you're familiar with them, they create a great line of St. Patrick's Day plastisol or screen printed transfers, and that way you could decorate multiple items cost effectively with the same image. And so you're able to do it that way if you would choose to create a large order or multiple t-shirts or garments. As I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, I'm going to be using the CAD-CUT process and a vinyl cutter and a heat press, and obviously a variety of heat transfer materials. I chose this decorating method because really each of the designs that are created for the markets we'll cover, they were created by unique individuals, and that's the idea of St. Patrick's Day and these custom garments. And each of these garments was created by an individual here at our office from concept to delivery. So they chose the design, they created it with a design software that we have called CAD-CUT Live, chose the material and the delivery, and it's just so fun and exciting to be able to do that and be able to offer that to your customers. It's something specialized to them. So why CAD-CUT for this process? The first reason is obviously, it's perfect for custom one-off orders. So I can create a custom design, and whether I create one image with CAD-CUT heat transfer materials or I create 15 images or 100 images, each garment and each transfer will cost me the same per piece. It doesn't really change much over large quantity orders. It's also the most cost-effective for custom designs, especially when you get into the variety of finishes that are available as far as glitters or foils or reflectives, even some 3D effects that we'll look at. It's easy to create these designs with these effects because, as you'll see here, if you're not familiar with the CAD-CUT process, each of the designs are used. The 1, 2, 3 here is the first step is basically if I was creating a single color design with a CAD-CUT process, I would start by loading my green material into the cutter like you see in the first photo. The cutter then uses the blade to cut the image out, and the images that we do create for this process do need to be in a vector format. So if you're not familiar with vector images that are used for vinyl cutting or CAD-CUT process, a JPEG image would not work. You need something that's created with lines like an EPS or Adobe Illustrator or Corel Draw, images like that where the cutter is able to read the design. It's a little bit more simple with text rather than a JPEG like a photo. So they also need to be cut in the negative. So two things you want to look for. Is it a vector image, and is it going to be mirrored and reversed? Once that's all done to your artwork, you'll send it to the cutter, and the blade cuts the design out. The second step in the process is to weed away the excess heat transfer material. So here you'll see I have a weeding tool in the second photo, just pulling away from the number 40 here in the design so I'm able to be left with the transfer that I want. Once you have all the designs weeded away in the design that you desire, you get a third step, which is obviously just the heat application. One of the really great things about CAD-CUT products is it's all pre-spaced on a carrier, so you don't have to lay out individual letters or numbers, so your design can be a little bit more intricate than maybe just a name and number on a football jersey, which is where people have used these type of films before in the past. And the process actually for all the materials that we use for the garments in this webinar is exactly like you see here. So if it's a glitter material, we load the glitter material in the vinyl cutter. We weed that glitter material and we heat press it. So there's no extra steps that are involved. All this is just choosing the roll of material that you'd like. So you want a glitter, or you want a foil, or you want a puff 3D effect. You just buy that film. And that's one of the great advantages of CAD-CUT is you can customize just by using all those things. So now that we've kind of covered the CAD-CUT process and why to use it for custom garments and how it sort of fits with the process, I want to just quickly cover the markets that are available for holidays and for events before we get into some of the designs that we had created and selling ideas for those events. Obviously, the first one and the most lucrative is custom garments, and especially those in the retail market. Create some sample garments and start advertising your ability to create shirts for events in your showroom or shop windows or on your website. Obviously, as the saying goes, you build it, they will come. Offer custom garments, you'll be surprised, obviously what you can sell them for and how much people are looking for that kind of custom element nowadays to designs. Start early and often with getting your word out to customers about your ability to create some of these looks. Even if it's just a personal saying on a t-shirt, many people for St. Patrick's Day especially will go out to parties or parades or pubs, and they don't want to end up obviously not having a custom festive shirt, and now you can create their specific artwork using a green heat transfer material easily. You can decorate with a variety of green heat transfer materials, and so with CAD-CUT there's no need for them to settle for a basic screen printed t-shirt. Show them how they can stand out. Now you can add the glitters, now you can add the foils to their design. It's easy to make a sample shirt with CAD-CUT as well. So if you're looking to go after this St. Patrick's Day market and maybe you're thinking, I don't know if I have a market for this, with screen printing, I'm sure the cost is a little bit more expensive than it would be to create one design with CAD-CUT. So it's easy to make the samples to show your customers and to get a market there for it with the CAD-CUT materials as well. The other thing with CAD-CUT materials is you're not limited to just plain adult t-shirts with the custom designs. You'll also be able to add to children's apparel. So you can create onesies or kids t-shirts and customize any of those. I mean, if you're already decorating for mom and dad, this presents an opportunity to decorate for the children as well, and customize garments for, you know, maybe my first St. Patrick's Day, or Kiss Me onesies, or put the child's name under a shamrock. Just a lot of opportunities for decorating with children's apparel, and that opens you up to a lot of the first holidays. You know, maybe offer a package of, you know, first Christmas, first Halloween, or anything like that to your customers. This third kind of market we'll look at is local restaurants, bars, and pubs. Many, many, many local restaurants. And of course, Irish pubs will create weekend events or events for the day of St. Patrick's Day to kind of offer, you know, obviously food and drink specials and get people in the doors to celebrate. You can easily offer them personalized shirts for their workers to wear for advertising the events, you know, maybe list the specials on them or anything to kind of make it a little more festive and make that event worth coming into the restaurant or to the pub, different from any other day that maybe a customer might come in there. The third one is obviously parades and events. On the weekends surrounding St. Patrick's Day, many of the towns create parades or events to celebrate. So that was obviously a tradition that was started with towns with large populations of Irish descent. So people might have thought maybe it wasn't worth going after, but now it's just about any large city and even small cities will throw some kind of parade or event or get together for the community to celebrate the holiday. For example, I think Chicago is the one that throws a big St. Patrick's Day parade. They even dye the river green. So there's obviously a lot of opportunities for decorating the people that are attending the event to those who are controlling maybe the parade and keeping traffic in line. There's a lot of people there that are available to be able to be personalized, maybe people that are selling items for the event, or restaurants or bars that might be trying to get people off the streets and into their place after the parade. So a lot of opportunities there that we'll look at. The first one, and obviously the most popular, is going to be the retail looks with fashion foam electric and glitter flake heat transfer materials. Bling effects like foils or glitters, they're popular in the retail designs for both men and women, depending on you know, the finish of the material they're being used. And it really still amazes me that these finishes are, you know, every month after month they're in the stores and they're on retail designs and they're popping up just about everywhere, from t-shirts and sweatshirts to, you know, pants and bags. And, you know, why not you take these retail elements and create custom garments with them as well with some of these finishes. A lot of people, like I said in the beginning, were afraid to create custom garments with this because it's a nightmare to use any kind of glitter or foil material, glitter especially with maybe a screen print or a screen printed adhesive, which is where a lot of people had used it in the past. It's quite messy, a little bit time consuming, and it just, you know, you worry about it flaking off. And heat transfer materials like the glitter flake here that we'll look at is actually, you know, very, very durable, and the fashion foam electric as well. Both of these heat transfer materials, you know, if they want to use the garment year after year, you know, it's a durable product. It's going to last 50 washes, if not longer. It's lab certified for those kind of things. So you're going to give them a product that you can obviously be proud of and that you can trust. For this t-shirt, like I'd mentioned before, a lot of our designs here were created from concept to the finished garment by an individual. So it wasn't created all by one person. So to kind of get their take on what they would like to wear out or what they'd like their friends to wear out for St. Patrick's Day. So for this shirt, she decided to do a two-color design. She wanted a green and a gold. But she wanted the gold to stand out a little bit more than the regular green, so we suggested the glitter flake. The custom design was obviously something unique to her. And the electric green, she kind of decided the last element just to give something that wasn't very, very flat mixed to that high texture glitter, but something that had a little bit of a shine to it. So it has a unique kind of prism effect to the prism green electric. So it has that sheen without kind of interfering with that really, really brilliant glitter of the glitter flake. Now, to notice the artwork here, when we zoomed in on the glitter flake and the electric that is together, you'll notice that the glitter flake's not actually over top of the fashion foam electric. We don't recommend that the glitter flakes touches another film. It actually is okay to be on the garment but not layered over another heat transfer material. So to keep us from putting the glitter flake on top of the fashion foam electric, we just created a void in the design area so that the two heat transfer materials aren't layered. And the design, like this one here, like we've talked about retail designs and the difference of them, this design, Irish Princess, is a really, really popular saying and phrase for St. Patrick's Day. So if you guys have noticed with St. Patrick's Day designs and a lot of holiday designs, seems to be like some phrases and some sayings that come up and are kind of used throughout different garments and koozies and bags and things like that. So like Kiss Me, I'm Irish, Happy St. Patrick's Day, Irish Princess. Those are very, very popular, and you obviously want to stand out among the other decorators that are offering those kind of messages in retail shops, and allow your customers to choose the finish and personalize design to what they want, whether they want maybe the Irish part to be green and the princess part to be gold, or the shamrock to be a different color, or maybe to add a rainbow into it. Those are the kind of things that allow them to personalize it to what they want. They don't have to buy the screen printed design that's on the rack that's all done in green and gold, and they can choose what they want. So if this customer specifically wanted glitter flake and fashion foam electric with the gold and the green, but the next customer that comes in maybe wants a 3D material for the shamrock and would like a regular film in the Irish Princess, you're able to kind of accommodate this without breaking the bank and being able to give them exactly what they want and charge a little more than what they would pay for that screen printed design. So obviously allowing them to choose their finish and tailor designs to themselves and to their own taste will help you win their business and obviously make a little more money on the sale. If they're already coming in, you want them to upgrade the garment, and if you can make $5 more on every sale, it's that much more valuable for these kind of looks as well. Keeping with the whole theme and idea of custom garments, here we customized, like we did with the same Irish Princess design, we've personalized this design to make it custom to the customer. And another simple way to add to design is this is just a two-tone effect. So we just use two greens, but the darker green kind of stands out above the Kelly green and the fashion film heat transfer material that's layered on the bottom of the designs. So this will make it stand out against, again, those mass-produced or those screen-printed shirts that they might be seeing in local shops versus yours. Since not everyone likes bling like glitters or foils, using these kind of 3D effects and offering more muted or unique effects, kind of like more things that are in the retail market, that'll open you up to being able to present opportunities to more and more markets to your customers. And if you'll notice, the shamrock in the St. Patrick's Day is actually done in a Pebble Puff heat transfer material. So this unique heat transfer material is pretty cool. What we did is we heat pressed the fashion film layer, the Kelly green, down in the circle. Heat press that layer down for the recommended time and temperature. So for the fashion film, it's 320 degrees for 20 seconds, and then warm peel. So once we have that first layer down, we went back down and placed our CAD-CUT Pebble Puff heat transfer material over that. And the Pebble Puff material actually comes flat on the carrier when you're cutting it, so you don't have any problems with the material kind of being difficult to cut. You still cut it with a 45-degree blade, with a normal kind of force. And then when you heat press it, the first layer is to tack it down to the garment. And then once you have the the Pebble Puff transfer heat applied, you would lower the press over just to hover over the transfer. And when you do that, what's going to happen is the Pebble Puff material will raise to give you that really unique puffed effect. Just as a little tip, what we did using this Pebble Puff heat transfer material is we did put a pillow in between the two layers, and that just gave us a more full and a better puff on the shamrock to get a nice full coverage. So that's one thing you can do. And obviously, like I said, the puff material, the opportunities with this is truly endless. Here the designer wanted to mix the two films together, so they decided to use the Pebble Puff for an added effect. That's one way that you can clearly use this Pebble Puff just to give a dimension to a unique or retail design. You could easily customize a shirt for a polo shirt with this kind of material for St. Patrick's Day as well. It gives you that kind of embroidered-like look on the garment. And a third way you could actually do this is if you wanted to use the scrap piece or what's left in your design is just to cut out some shamrocks. You could apply the Pebble Puff to a bottom of socks to do an upsell on the garment. Maybe throw them in for free if they order so many, or a couple extra dollars if they want to throw them on. And the Pebble Puff kind of creates a unique like a non-slip surface on the bottom of socks. You can customize that with any sayings or just the shamrocks on the bottom of the feet, and that gives you a way to kind of use the scrap that you've already accounted into the cost of the garment and kind of make some extra money without increasing your costs very, very much. So that's one way you can do that with a Pebble Puff as well. But that gives you an idea of what you can do with some of these 3D effects. One other thing that I mentioned, just like adults decorating and dressing up for St. Patrick's Day, you obviously want to customize for the children as well if they're coming in, especially if it's something that is a child with maybe a first one, or you're going to the first St. Patrick's Day, or if you want to personalize for their name or their initials like there was done here. And this one, actually, the designer for these children's one day came in, and she has two nieces that she wanted to wear some customized blingy garments for some St. Patrick's Day photos that they were going to be taking. So each onesie has been personalized with the two little girls' names using the glitter flake and kind of a unique, more of a leprechaun feel font. When she created the artwork, she even added in some more, festive kind of holiday-inspired clip art with the shamrock and the glitter flake, and then again the fashion film that's on there as well with the leprechaun hat. So what we're using here is the gold and the green is the glitter flake, and then the fashion film and the black for the cap. So obviously the glitter flake adds that kind of sparkle. It's really, really nice for personalizing for children's apparel, maybe their names, dates, for birthdays, or like I said, the first holidays, initials. It really just presents a huge opportunity for sales among the whole range of holidays year-round. If you wanted to offer a package where they get so many holidays, where they can get custom photos and things like that taken with their holiday-inspired designs. Adding the sparkle obviously makes these garments stand out, but one of the awesome things about the CAD-CUT glitter flake is it's CPSIA compliant. So if you're not familiar with CPSIA compliancy, it's basically a standard that's used to determine if a material is safe for children's apparel. So surprisingly, our glitter flake is compliant with these type of things. A lot of other glitter films traditionally have not been. So it's safe to put on any kind of children's apparel. So it's a nice selling feature to have as well. To create the three-color design, what we actually did was we placed the fashion film down along with the glitter flake, and did that in one hit, and then went over the second layer with the glitter flake green shamrock once we had peeled the carrier from the fashion film cap. So it was really, really easy. You can kind of see zoomed in here just how nice it was for us to get that bling finish, and how much the glitter flake can really, really stand out on these designs. Another market that we had talked about doing for St. Patrick's Day or holidays or events or anything like that is for restaurants and bars. All around, local and national restaurants and bars, like I said, find a way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. They can use drink and food specials. Sometimes they even add in a contest or two. Every unique restaurant is different and has their own specialized reason and a way to get people in the door to celebrate the holiday with them. It's a great time for you to kind of present now to them custom or personalized shirts, maybe advertising their drink specials. You can change them up however they want to do with marketing their sales offers. And you can actually come to them, and you don't have to say, let me customize just your garments for this day. Why don't you offer them a few different packages or sales offers to see what seems to fit their business the best? One option, like I have here, is to decorate garments to have their staff or anybody wear on St. Patrick's Day. This one here, just to kind of change from the normal t-shirts that people wear, I thought a fan jersey might be cool for a sports bar or a pub. So what we did is we decorated a fan jersey to kind of help the restaurant staff stand out for this, one day a year where maybe it's a bigger day. They go above and beyond doing drink specials than they do any other normal holiday. So, why not stand out with an upgraded garment as well? This is a change of pace from the normal branded attire, so you want something that's going to be a little nicer maybe than a t-shirt. you can imagine really any kind of local sports bar or pub in your area probably using something like this for promotional use for branded attire. The garment here that I did decorate was using the CAD-CUT hologram heat transfer material, so it's kind of like that glitter flake blingy finish. It just really stands out. Obviously, the men might not be too open to this, but you can obviously present other heat transfer options like the fashion film electric that might be a little bit, with a little bit of a sheen to it, but not quite as blingy as this hologram heat transfer material. So we kind of customize that. You can easily customize the back with, maybe drafts or $2 instead of it saying Lucky Charmed 40. Customize the name, put drink specials on the shoulders. Any other place you can add locations to these type of garments and add more specials, more decorative placement will obviously increase the dollar worth of the garment and what you can make off of it. This bling material, just to kind of mention, is really, really inexpensive for some of our sparkle and bling finishes. So it really is an inexpensive way for you to get a nice design on a garment. Just to give you an idea, the hologram in this is about $2 in material for the front and the back. So we have a full front and a 12 by 12 design on the back. So it's really, really cost effective for you to customize these garments with this material. So that's one option, is to obviously decorate the main shirt that the staff is going to be wearing at the day of the St. Patrick's Day event or the weekend. Another option would be to decorate maybe a series of garments that they could use for extra advertisements leading up to maybe the big St. Patrick's Day event. Say, it's maybe a big thing for them throughout the year. You could offer a set of either 3 or 5 shirts counting down the days to St. Patrick's Day. So let's say this year I believe St. Patrick's Day is on a Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which are probably two of the largest days for restaurants, bars, and pubs to get people into the door. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they could offer a countdown, 3 days left. Don't miss our specials, 2 days left, and then 1 day left. So anybody who was coming into the store or the restaurant that weekend and maybe wasn't thinking about coming here to celebrate the holiday, now they're able to come in and celebrate the holiday, or they know what's available. 'Cause sometimes, just using word of mouth from your other customers or even from your employees to people, letting them know isn't enough. Putting it out there on the shirt might help them see it. This is going to be a big thing. It might be worth coming back the day of and seeing what kind of specials they have. And then obviously offer them a final shirt for the day of. So now you're not only selling one garment per employee to these kind of customers, but you're opening up to 4 or 6 different garments per employee, and it gets to be a little bit more lucrative of a sales opportunity as well. Obviously, when doing it this way, you could very easily offer a discount for ordering the bulk shirts in the package. So when you're pricing the packages out, give them one price for just doing one shirt the day of, or if they want to do a package where they want to do the series of shirts marketing out the promotions and the specials leading up to the big day, then maybe you throw in that shirt that they're going to wear the day of for free if they choose to do the extra garments, or find unique ways to kind of entice them to want to buy more from you or buy the packages as well, and present everything in a way that they're going to want to purchase that package. The third option that you could even do, maybe you have that bar owner who says, I kind of like my shirts that we're going to wear for St. Patrick's Day. I really don't see a need to change. I like our branded apparel. And that's fine too, but what if would they be open to selling shirts there at the pub that maybe even have their logo on it for their customers? And that's where you can maybe offer multiple designs. So if you're going to maybe plan on making 100 or 150 shirts that day for them, I would recommend using the plastisol transfers from Transfer Express, either in a custom design that you had designed yourself and ordering those, or you could choose one of their new St. Patrick's Day transfers or anything like that to kind of make it special. To cut back on inventory, if you're worried about maybe the design not selling or people being interested, and even really to make people more interested and kind of make more of a spectacle, I would recommend, see if you can take a heat press in there and heat press there. So you can cut back on the inventory by just pressing. If someone needs a large, you grab a blank large shirt and you press the plastisol transfer on. If someone needs a small, you do the same. So you won't end up decorating, like with screen printing in your shop, if you took in 30 smalls, 50 mediums, 50 larges, and then all of a sudden you're out of smalls that people wanted, but you have a ton of larges and they're not really working. This way you can just kind of print what you need when you need it. If they don't sell, you're not stuck with the already printed garments and trying to discount them at the end as well. So that's one way you can use those, and those are just again, the screen printed or a plastisol transfer from Transfer Express. So that gives you 3 options for selling into restaurants and bars this year with St. Patrick's Day, and kind of getting in your foot in the door with those type of businesses. So maybe when they are looking for new branded apparel or different designs for other events, then they'll know where to come back to as well. The last market that I do want to cover is parades and events and things like that, and that kind of still goes hand in hand with the whole events at restaurants and bars. I know we have a lot of popular pub crawls at this time of year with St. Patrick's Day, and that's exactly what this design was created for. So this design here, you can offer to personalize these for the bar or for people who maybe have their specific pub crawl, maybe a team name on the back or the year. This year, the green was actually customized with CAD-CUT flock. So if you're not familiar with the CAD-CUT flock or any flock materials, what they are is they are a really unique kind of suede soft finish. So if you ever walked around a retail shop or any type of store and maybe felt something on the shirt that felt really soft, kind of like a felt, but it wasn't felt, that would be the flocking material. So it kind of gives you a unique effect, and this CAD-CUT flock is a little different from heat transfer flocks that people have used in the past. And the first is that it's a little bit thinner, so it feels a little bit nicer on the garment. And it's also able to do to be layered and to do 2 or 3 color designs. So if you wanted to use another flock over top of the flock heat transfer material or another heat transfer film, you could do this with the CAD-CUT flock heat transfer material. So, and it's thin enough that it'll allow you to have 2 layers without it kind of weighing down the garment as well. Just opens you up to plenty more opportunities with this finish, especially for men who might not want some of the bling finishes that we've covered here throughout the webinar as well. You can offer to decorate these garments to kind of, sell at events to commemorate the parade or the events or the pub crawl or anything like that, or kind of commemorate the winner of the pub crawl or the bar. This design, again, was just personalized by somebody who is planning to go out for a pub crawl and wanted to kind of commemorate what he believes will be the all-star team for 2013. So it's just one unique way to kind of stand out as well. Just as a side note, the leprechaun that you're seeing here, which is the clip art, and actually this whole entire design was created from a template in our CADWorks design software. So if you're not familiar with CADWorks Live, what it is if you're a Stalls customer, you can use a free online design software called CADWorksLive.com. Basically, this design software has clip art, templates, and text, and make it really, really easy for creating designs and things for vinyl cutting. So this design, we just pulled a template out of the CADWorks Live studio and personalized it with St. Patrick All-Stars, put in a piece of clip art for the leprechaun, and had our finished designs. This was something that was really, really easy to customize and didn't take a lot of design time with that as well. So that's one way to do it. It's easily done with that software and the vinyl cutter. So the leprechaun was decorated with a fashion film heat transfer material, just because if you're looking at it, you're probably noticing there's a lot of fine detail in it. The fashion film heat transfer material will allow you to cut and weed some finer detail designs like that leprechaun there versus some other heat transfer material. So it was a really great choice for us to pick that material out for this design. So obviously we are getting down to crunch time with St. Patrick's Day. I think we have 23 days left of St. Patrick's Day, even less for week selling days. I'm not counting down or anything, but now would be the time, just to risk using another cliche in the webinar. I know you used a couple already, but the saying always goes, I think it's early bird gets the worm, if that sounds right. So it's time now to kind of jump in, get started, let your customers know that your shop's ready for St. Patrick's Day. You're able to do these custom holiday designs. 23 days is plenty of time if you act now to kind of jump in, get your samples made, and start selling out there to your customers and showing them what's available. So you can stock up now. It's CAD-CUTdirect.com. If you go to the website, we're offering an extra 5% off between now and St. Patrick's Day on all the special effect films that you saw here today in the color green. So the Fashion Film Electric, the Glitter Flake, the Hologram, that CAD-CUT flock material, and the Pebble Puff material. So that's an extra 5%. If you're not familiar with Stahl's, the CAD-CUT Direct division, we actually have exclusive online pricing. So if you go to our website and choose to order on the website, you actually can save up to 30% on some of these materials just by ordering online. So that's one really, really great way to save and stock up and to get started using designs for this. So that's one thing to get you started. Obviously, this is just one way to break into the holidays and events. Once people know you're able to customize for these type of things, you open up your door to Easter, which is right around the corner, or holidays like Halloween or Christmas or Thanksgiving. You're really opening yourself up to a huge range of opportunities once they know you have these capabilities. So lastly, before I forget, if you're worried about getting the materials on time, we do ship all the heat transfer CAD-CUT materials in 2 days or less. We'll guarantee it. So you can definitely order today or order tomorrow and have it early next week and ready to go for the year. So with that, I obviously want to open you guys up to any questions you had throughout the webinar. If we don't get to your question or if you forget it now and get back to it later, my contact information is there as well, so you can jot me down real quick and shoot me an email to let me know, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Lastly, we have an upcoming webinar as well on February 26th at 2 o'clock on decorating with promotional products. So just a really good range of products available in that for promotional items, and that webinar might be worth checking out. So I think we might have had a few questions, Jody.
Courtney, as of right now, I don't see that any questions have come in, but maybe we'll give it a few seconds and some will start infiltrating.
Feel free if you guys have any questions. Like I said, if not here and you get back to your shop and think about them later, just shoot me a quick email. I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, and you can also always leave comments or email us at info@greatgarmentgraphics.com too, and we'll get any of your questions answered for you. But it looks like you did such a good job that nobody is wondering anything, so you covered all the bases for sure.
Sounds good.
Oh, wait. One just popped in. So it looks like one of our attendees is wondering what you said about the Pebble Puff. She's interested in the Pebble Puff. So if you could tell her more about that. I see that you're flicking back to it.
Sure. Yeah, the Pebble Puff heat transfer material is basically just a single color CAD-CUT roll. We cut it out on the vinyl cutter, and when we heat press it, what we do is we tack the transfer down for 5 seconds, and then peel the carrier. And then once you have that carrier peeled, what you'll do is you'll lay a cover sheet over top of it and hover the heat press over with a very, very light pressure, and that's going to allow it to raise. Now, like I did mention, you do want to, to get a really, really full, consistent puff, I always recommend using what's called a heat printing pillow in the middle of the garment, and that'll help give you the heat on both ends, sort of, to raise that transfer. But it's really, really good for T-shirts or the bottoms of socks or even polo shirts.
So what you're saying is when you use the pillow, you either insert it into the garment or you have it underneath the garment on the bottom pattern? Okay.
Either would work, but I would definitely probably recommend inserting it in the middle if it'll fit.
Okay. Got it. Okay, I think that's actually what she was wondering.
Perfect.
Okay, and that looks like that's about it. So I guess we'll wrap it up for today.
Perfect. Well, thanks everybody for attending. We look forward to seeing you at some future webinars.
Yes, and Courtney, thank you so much for attending. And also everyone else who's joined us for the last half hour, 45 minutes, thank you for being here and have a great day.